Hello there. I'm Lindsay from Artifact, and today, One Cancer Place introduces you to the poignant story of April Harper, one in a series of personal stories that provides a peek into the authentic life of a cancer patient. We hope that you find the magic in these unique stories because each of these lives is lived to the hilt, in service for others and in deep gratitude for survival.
My name is April Harper, and I've been living with stage 4 metastatic colorectal cancer.
I have mets in my liver and my lungs. Been in treatment since August of 2018.
Okay, April, can you tell me about when you got your diagnosis, maybe leading up to it, how you were feeling, and then how you decided to go in to get seen about it?
Okay, well, I started having some abdominal pain, and it wasn't as bad when it first started, but over about a week or so, it started getting worse, and I decided that I needed to try to go get seen by the doctor, and I wasn't able to get in with my primary physician. So I went into our, where I was working at the time, had an employee clinic where you can go in and be seen by a doctor. So I made an appointment there. This was in July of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And, we just kind of started there with the pain, and that's pretty much what I had been dealing with, and it happened so fast.
You went in and you got seen, and did anybody go with you to the doctor on this day? And how soon after you were seen that first time did you find out your diagnosis?
When I went in to be seen, I did go by myself. I have a little bit of a medical background, so I was like, hey, I'm having some abdominal pain. It's been going on for this long. This is what I think it is. And they sent me to have an abdominal ultrasound done. I'm not sure if we're all familiar with my chart, but the results from the ultrasound came through my chart. And as I was reading the my chart, I was getting a phone call from the employee clinic to have a CT scan done. I kind of knew some of the words, and the word that stuck out was metastasis. So I kind of had an idea about what was going on.
And you said you have a little bit of a medical background, but I think that's a slight understatement. You're a nurse, right?
Yes, I'm a registered nurse. Up until 2018, I had been working as a nurse since 1993. So, not a little bit of a background, but
quite an extensive background. So when you saw metastasis, you kind of knew what might be coming when the doctor was going to call you, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I had a CT scan done, and of course that came to my chart, and I got to read that a little bit before I got the phone call to come into the doctor's office so that he can talk to me. And I didn't take anyone with me at that time either. When they called me and they come and talk to the doctor, I went by myself because I just didn't want to have to deal with my emotions and someone else's at that time. I don't know if that sounds selfish, but I didn't want to have to tell them anything until I was ready to tell my family, what was going on. Yeah.
How long did it take for you to be ready to talk to your family about your diagnosis?
Well, my mom kind of knew that I was going to the doctor, and I really had to tell her when I got home from the doctor's appointment because my mom was there waiting. And she knew I had went. She didn't know what I was going to hear, but she knew I was going to hear, the results from the test and everything, the CT scan and stuff. So I just told her.
We've lived together like my whole entire life. I came out of the womb and I've always been with my mom.
Yeah.
She only had me and my brother So we're all a really tight knit group of people.
And then she and I shared with everyone else that evening. I just kind of just,
Yeah.
yeah, told everybody.
So you and your mom are really close. What was it like talking to her about that?
I think it was harder for her to hear it than it was for me to talk about it. I consider myself to be a realist, and I kind of try to accept things when they happen, go ahead and just deal with it kind of head on kind of thing.
Yeah. You also have children. How old are your children, and what was their experience hearing it from you as well?
At the time, my baby was 16, my middle daughter 24, and my oldest daughter 31. Me and my oldest daughter, I guess she sees her mom as being invincible and nothing can hurt mom. So I think it was hard on all of them, but maybe like the oldest one and the youngest one to hear that, for me to say that, for me to tell them that was hard, especially my baby, She was only 16, and her sisters have had me all their life, and I just think that she was being robbed in my mind of some time with her mom, and I didn't want to be the one to tell her, you may be robbed of some time with your mom, the
Yeah.
sister 31, your other sister 24, and here you are just 16, And
Yeah.
she's real quiet and doesn't talk a lot, and I think she holds more of her emotions in than she lets out. And I was worried kind of about that too when I had to talk to her. It was difficult. It was just hard to have to sit down with your children and tell them you might miss some of your grandkids' life, or I'm going to miss some of your life, My oldest one is the only one that's ever been married, so, my middle daughter, if she ever gets married, and my baby girl, I was thinking I'm not going to be a part of that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We kind of went into our faith mode. You
Mhm.
know, God is here with us. He's going to take care of this. He's going to take care of you. He's going to take care of us. We're going to go and listen to what the doctor's got to say, what the plan of treatment is, and we're going to take this in stride. And that's exactly what we did. It just never came upon us to be sad or feel lost or anything like that, because we knew that we had God on our side.
As things progressed and you started going to get your treatments, how is your family, which, again, I'm gathering you're all very, very close, how have they been helping you and supporting you in this time, and how has that been for you?
Well, my oldest daughter had moved away a little bit, and she came back home because my baby girl, was still in school, and I was the one getting her back and forth to school and getting her to work. So she stepped up, and that's how she supported me then. My mom would go to me to every one of my treatments. My brother, he made sure that we got whatever we needed. They were very, I just think everybody was supportive. Whenever I had to have something done, like when I got my port put in, my brother was there, my mom was there. They just kicked in whatever I can't do, they do. Even though I never really wanted to be like a burden to my family. I do try to do what I can for myself, not to burden my family. Yeah. But, me and my mom, we live together. We kind of look out for one another kind of thing.
When I need to talk, they listen, and they try to keep me. When I get into my negative mode, they push me back into the positive, because
Yeah.
I read a lot about things that patients go through with their treatments and stuff, and I haven't had a lot of the situations that I've read about.
What are some of the things that people go through that you haven't been experiencing yet?
I haven't had any surgeries. I haven't had to have any surgeries. I haven't had any serious side effects from the chemotherapy. Like I see a lot of people having a lot of like these rashes that look like burns and stuff. I've not experienced any of that. I've not experienced any of the hand, foot, mouth syndrome, the sores and stuff that people can get on their palms of their hands and their feet. I haven't experienced any of that. The most I experience is a lot of nausea. I haven't had like a whole lot of vomiting, and I have lost a lot of weight, which wasn't a bad thing because I was kinda trying to, but
Yeah.
the neuropathy and stuff, I do have neuropathy, but it's not really bad at all.
Mhm.
I'm still able to walk, I'm not, like, falling down, and I just haven't been able to work, and I have a lot of mental issues from having to find a new identity, so.
I understand you're a mom and you're a caretaker in your profession.
Mhm.
So, relying on your family in this way, how has that been as an adjustment? And what do you tell yourself when you're trying to, accept their care and attention?
I'm talking to myself and trying to tell myself, your family's trying to help you. You can't do this for yourself right now. Trying to, accept the help. Because that's what I really have to make sure, accept the help. Um, that's what I'm pretty much just trying to talk myself and
Yeah.
tell myself, accept the help. They're trying to help. But it was hard. It was hard because I've always kept us to kind of together. It took care of a lot for everybody. And I don't know, just watching myself in that situation, having to get other people to do things that you normally would do for yourself, to allow people to do that.
I imagine that's one thing that's really difficult for people who are living with cancer to try to allow their loved ones to support them. What are some other
Mm-hmm.
things that maybe aren't obvious? What are some of those changes in your life or things that you are dealing with that aren't as obvious that you might want people to know or make them aware of?
Well, two things. You can't first off see my pain. And the second, you also can't see the neuropathy that I might have or the headaches that I'm having. You can't see my illness from the outside. But that does not mean that I'm not sick, that I'm not going through things, that I'm not dealing with stuff. I think a lot of people, you have to look sick in order to be sick.
Mm-hmm.
People can't see you limping or see you with one arm. They don't think you're disabled, kind of thing. I just wish people could accept that. For us, cancer is killing us silently, but you're not privy to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If someone has someone in their life who is battling cancer, what would you tell them to do as an offer of support or a show of care that might not be obvious? What's something that we can do?
I'm not sure if I'm going to put this right, but I'm going to try to listen without interjecting yourself. If I say my neuropathy is bad, my feet are burning really bad, don't say like, well, my ankle is burning really bad or something like that. Or, a lot of times when you have cancer, people want you to always be positive. And if you're feeling a little negative, they're like, oh, no, you can't do that. But sometimes you just can't help not being positive at every 5 seconds of the day. And if that one thing just slips, let that person have that slip moment.
Yeah.
Don't make them feel bad because they slipped and didn't have that perfect, positive, all-day day kind of thing.
Yeah, that's good advice. Just
Yeah,
listen and let it settle.
right. Yeah, because sometimes it just has to show. It just has to come out. You can't hide it too long.
So tell me a little bit about some of the other avenues of support that you've had throughout this. Maybe um, One Cancer Place or the Facebook group you were on before you found One Cancer Place.
I found One Cancer Place through meeting someone on Town, which is the first group that I found when I went searching through social media and stuff to find a support group, a way of finding information and stuff. So Town was the first place that I met. One Cancer Place went through there from Town. So yeah, that is pretty much my exposure to the social support system. It was just one more called Blue Hope Nation. Yeah, that's another one I've gotten into.
What are those groups like? What kind of support have you garnered in those spaces that maybe, your family members haven't been able to offer you or wouldn't even know how to because they're not living with cancer?
Right. And that's pretty much what I found. I was able to vent if I needed to someone who really understood and could give me some pointers from not directly walking in my shoes, but going through the same thing that I'm going through. They can give me some better pointers on how to deal with stuff. Also, like learning some of the symptoms that you might need to be looking for when you're on certain chemotherapy regimens, or learning about new chemotherapy regimens and clinical trials and that type. And you just have people who actually know, not from what they heard or from what they've seen or from what they read, but from what they know, what you're dealing with.
Can you tell me a little bit more about One Cancer Place and how that's played a role in your life recently?
I met Erica and she let me know that she was thinking of doing another organization where cancer patients can get in on the bottom floor when they're first diagnosed to learn about the resources that they have, to learn about their cancer diagnosis, to learn about the genomes of their cancer or their like tumor markers of the cancer. And because a lot of patients go in to it and your doctor's explaining all this to you and your head is just so full and you're not really grasping everything that they're saying, but you have One Cancer Place where you can go to and get everything broken down by people who have already been in the shoes that you're walking in at that moment. So I jumped at the chance to get involved because I didn't have anyone there for me to help me navigate at the beginning. And I know how bewildered and overwhelmed it made me feel. So to be able to give back and help others, I just found that to be something that I really wanted to get involved in. I think Erica is brave for stepping out and doing that for others.
I don't guess you can like tell by listening to me now. I don't know that I am a little shy. Sometimes not really good at sharing how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, and definitely not to do something like this. But being involved with One Cancer Place has started bringing me out more to share my voice about things, not to be the patient that is relying on doctor to do all the research and stuff like that, helping me to be able to find those resources to take back to my doctor, my oncologist, if I need to. That's what kind of One Cancer Place has helped me with getting my doctors to see me as my own patient advocate and not just them, which even throughout my whole entire nursing career, I never really realized that that's what we do. Without realizing that's what we do, not allowing the patient to be 100% their advocate. And that's what I've learned through One Cancer Place. I am my advocate before anybody else.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I've gotten from being a part of the group so far.
Where are you in your cancer journey, and how is your treatment today? And, what are you experiencing as now your own strongest advocate?
Well, I've had some things happen in the last week. I've found out I've taken all of my regular, chemotherapy protocols. I do have one more left, but as for right now, we're going to put me in hospice for a little while because I'm having some difficult side effects from the chemo. I've taken chemo from 2018 up until December of 2021 without taking a break. And I think my body's kind of like, whoa, we need a break kind of thing. So I'm just going to go into hospice and then try my last line of therapy, which is the Starvarga. That's the decision we've made in the last couple of days. So that's what I'm looking forward to right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Haven't told nobody that, but I just found out yesterday. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, right now I want you to just take the opportunity to speak to anyone who might be listening to this and tell them any advice you might have or reflections you have on what you've learned during this whole experience.
I know it's not 100% avoidable for you to have to, for me to have to be going through this or anybody to have to be going through this. But if there's things that we could do to lessen the amount of disease that we have, or even if we're going to have a disease, we need to do it. I think being more proactive instead of reactive before you even get into the situation. And when you do get into the situation, trying to hold on to those positive moments to keep you going. And anybody accept help, learn how to accept help if you aren't able to. And sometimes we might need to be a little bit gentle what we say, think before we speak kind of thing when we're talking to someone living with cancer. I guess it's a whole bunch of stuff I've just taken for granted, even as a healthcare professional. Just not thinking that people, we think we're going to make them all better and fix them. And not realizing we can't guarantee anything to anybody.
Yeah.
We shouldn't. Yeah. I mean,